my god. Happy holidays, everybody. How's it going? I feel like doo-doo. So it's that time of year. It's my top 10 albums of 2021, the year of the garbage fire. I also have some honorable mentions in here that almost equate to the same amount of numbered songs, top 10. I have a lot of albums I listened to. I had a really hard time choosing, so bear with me. So we're going to start from the bottom and then we'll get there. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to start with number 10, Turnstile, Glow On. This album was a surprise for me because I had never listened to Turnstile even once in my entire life. Story with this is, so our manager, Brad, he told us that a Twitch streamer was going to be reacting to one of the CARCOSA songs live on Twitch. So I went to watch it. The dude was pretty cooked, like he was pretty fucking drunk or something. And he was just vibing. And he didn't listen to our song, which is fine. But he played this Turnstile song, Holiday. He played it twice because he liked it so much. And I was like, you know what? I like this song too. I listened to Holiday and I was like, this is a really cool vibe. I really like this. It's almost like a dream pop punk record. It's very unique. So it's something I hadn't really listened to before, and yeah, I started listening to that record after that, and I fell in love with it. So check out a little snippet of Holiday right now. Number 9, baby. So this one is an unbiased pick, and you're going to hear me say that a few times because my number 9 is a Golden Mouth of Ruin, Archspire. There's some local Vancouver boys, and they've been killing it for a bunch of years. The last record they put out was also amazing, nominated for a Juno, which is the Canadian Grammys, basically. Yeah, like as soon as they started releasing singles off this album, like Bleed the Future and stuff, I was blown away. Like the songwriting has only gotten better, you know, for such crazy technical music. You wouldn't really expect like songwriting necessarily to be such a focal point, but you can tell that, you know, Dean and Toby and the whole crew really focused on writing catchy tech death songs, which shouldn't even be in the same sentence, but it is. That being said, the song Drone Corpse Aviator is a fantastic song altogether. The bridge section is amazing. The quiet little reprieve before you blast right back into it. It's such an awesome song, which is also accompanied by what could quite possibly be the best music video I have ever seen. In the age of, you know, music videos not really being as huge as they used to be, this is an awesome music video that I think brought in a ton of new fans to this band that might not have checked them out before. And yeah, Drone Corpse Aviator, super dope song. Check it out right now. All right, we're heading over to Sweden for number 8. Please do not judge my pronunciations of any of these Swedish words, but goddamn, I'll try my hardest. My number 8 is Viltjarta, Masteten Untervaten. I don't fucking know. Please don't judge me. I'm so sorry, the entire country of Sweden. We've been waiting for a new Viltjarta record for 10 years almost. Since Mastodon, I think it was, that record was called. Well, I guess Thousands of Evils was after that. Oh, well, I got it wrong. Anyways, we've been waiting a long time. And with the addition of Buster to this band, I'd always been hoping to hear a Viltjarta record that had his production on it, and we got it. Yeah, Cal, sorry, forget how to pronounce your name as well. I'm really butchering it. Wrote just such an awesome, congruent, just beautiful flowing record. The thing that I really like about this is there's a ton of tiebacks to the original records that came out like 10 plus years ago. And that stuff gets me excited. I love hearing reoccurring themes and all of that. And it's literally like riffs that sound like you threw somebody down the stairs and they're pieced together in a way that makes no sense, but for some reason it sounds cool. And it's just the most brutal sounding music ever. It's like Meshuggah, but even more complicated somehow. The song that I ended up choosing, it was pretty hard to pick one because it's a record that you listen to all the way through. It's kind of hard to stop and be like, oh, I really like this song in particular. There's a few songs like Toxin and Chaos 2 and stuff, like if you want to pick out singles, but the song that I really like the most is Mastodon's National Sang. I don't know how to pronounce it. Under Vadin, but it's basically the song that has the compilation of riffs from the Mastodon record from before and just tuned lower, basically. And when I first heard that, I was super fucking pumped. So check it out. All right, number 7 is a little bit of a different one that some of you might not expect. But I had a friend turn me on to this band a few years ago. His name is Chris. He used to play in a band called Shark Infested Daughters. And he showed me Come Out to L.A. by Don Bracco. And it was another one of those bands that I saw the music video and I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like, what a creative and exciting idea that isn't just like, you know, a band playing in front of a camera, which I'm guilty of. It was just such an exciting video, and it was a really catchy vibe. I don't even really know what to call Don Bracco, but they're like an alternative, like pop rock nu metal kind of band from the UK. I don't really know, honestly, what to call them. But their new record, Amazing Things, came out, and the singles off of this record are so good. There's so many good ones. I had a really hard time choosing. The one that I did end up going with is Manchester Super Red's Number One Fan. And here's my gripe with this record and sequencing of this record is it goes Gum Shield and then Manchester Super Red's Number One Fan. I think the intro of Manchester Super Red's Number One Fan sounds like the starter of an album. I wish they were switched. I wish it was the other way around because the way this song starts is so fucking awesome. Feels like a hardcore song. Like, I really like it. I'm also a fucking idiot, and like when I watched the music video, I legitimately thought it was David Beckham until I watched the behind the scenes and realized that they just hire this David Beckham impersonator for all their music videos. But it's a great music video as well. Super funny. They're a very self-aware band, which I love. And yeah, this song is great, so check it out.
Creepy, calling me daddy. They the same people, no shit don't tally. They the same people who become enemy. They the very same people thought that we family. What they think cause they're saying I don't get sad. Hearing like the old stuff but the new stuff's bad. When they tell me they were hoping that I go relapse. When they single out I remember keep on calling them a fatty fucking boys in the playground on some info shit. Tell me what the hell you getting out of it. Mr. Holy up and stuff and they are tough and sick. Fighting chaos like Jimmy from your twisted grip. Manchester Super Reds number one fan.
Number 6 is also kind of a different one that maybe not everybody will love. But I'm a big Bo Burnham fan. I've loved all of his specials, you know, What and Make Happy, all of those. I thought they're great. Also throwback to the old YouTube days as well. But Inside, the Netflix special that he did that came out was so fucking, you know, crazy for, I feel like, especially a lot of like content creators and artists during the pandemic. It felt very real because you could literally just see the decline of the human mind as they are struggling with, you know, isolation throughout the pandemic. The songwriting and vocal ability across the entire, you know, I guess you want to call it a soundtrack, is amazing. It was really hard to choose as well which one I wanted to go with. But I think the most catchy and the most lyrically sound all the way through is Welcome to the Internet. It nails it. It nails the exact personification of what the internet is. And it's a super catchy song. It feels like theater. You can tell he has a theater background because that's what it feels like, you know. Welcome to the Internet. Check it out.
Welcome to the internet. Have a look around. Anything that brain of yours can think of can be found. We've got mountains of content, some better, some worse. If none of it's of interest to you, you'd be the first. Welcome to the internet. Come and take a seat. Would you like to see the news or any famous women's feet? There's no need to panic. This isn't a test. Just nod or shake your head and we'll do the rest.
All right, we're going back to Sweden for number 5. A little bit more Buster worship for everybody. If you haven't figured it out, I really like Buster. Humanity's Last Breath. What can't you say about this band? There's so many good things about this project in general since the very beginning of, you know, Buster's journey with this project. But to me, it is quite, you know, possibly the heaviest band that exists in terms of lyrical content, in terms of tone. It's a production style that everybody wants to do right now. Everybody wants to work with Buster because they love how huge and massive their records sound. But yeah, Valde was such a good album. I really liked the last record as well, and the one before, the Detester EP. But yeah, this one is like a really beautiful blend of both of those records put into one. Even more matured songwriting. There's a lot of actual legitimate black metal vibes, not just like, you know, pretend black metal like a lot of bands are doing right now where they're just like slapping, you know, synths on top of it and saying it's black metal. This like actually feels like, you know, true cult, motherfucker. It's such a good album back to front. It's another one where I'm like, I listen to them all the way through and I have a hard time picking one song, but the beginning part of Dehumanize is so fucking awesome. Just like, he really shows you that it doesn't matter how low you tune, you can still make it sound fucking awesome. And it's not like just zeros. It's not super distasteful, I guess you want to say, because his songwriting and guitar playing ability is unmatched. It's so unique. It's a drummer playing guitar, and you can tell. And I think that's awesome. So yeah, check out Dehumanize. All right, we're going down under for number 4. I still don't know how to pronounce this band's name. They are called Elysian. So it's kind of cool how I ended up coming across this band. But one of the biggest radio stations in Australia is called Triple J, and they were playing Carcosa on their radio station. So I went to just check out, you know, where we were playing in the day. And it was us, and then this band, Elysian, was right underneath us. And I was like, oh, I want to hear what they sound like. And they came on right after us. And I was like, holy fuck. It's basically, and they're produced by Buster as well. Like, holy shit, here I go, worshiping Buster again. Produced by Buster. And it sounds basically like Humanity's Last Breath in a way, but a lot more melodic. It's like a beautiful blend of like North Lane and Humanity's Last Breath, if that's what you're into, just a little bit more melody, you know, to your heaviness. And I really like it. It's such a beautiful blend. And there's stuff that they do that kind of reminds me of what Carcosa does as well. Like the song Creatures reminds me of our song called Present. And I really, really like that track. It was, you know, Utopia is a really good song as well. This whole record, it's called There's More to Us Than You and I. Super awesome listen. Highly recommend it. The song I'm going to show y'all is called The Wretched of the Earth. right, we're getting into that top 3 now, baby. So number 3 was also another one that I just discovered listening to Mike Greenwood's playlist. Mike Greenwood from Angelmaker, he has a really good playlist called Deathcore FM, where he basically adds all deathcore from all eras, specifically the early MySpace era and stuff, but he also updates it with, newer bands as well. And I was doing like an Instagram live or something like that. This band called Darker by Design came by, and I was like, what the fuck is this? It was really cool because I heard a lot of cello going on. Like, I could tell that it was legitimately recorded cello. It wasn't just like a synth VST. It was real. And I was like, okay, I respect that. After that, I just kind of got hooked. And their record came out this year. It's called Necrolatry. I don't know how to pronounce that either. As you can tell, I'm a fucking idiot. Yeah, and I listened to it back to front over and over again. And it reminded me of like the Black Dahlia Murder. And it reminded me, honestly, of Angelmaker as well. Like, the melodic trem riffs that I really like. It's a familiar sound that was, the reason why I was a fan of both of the bands that I just mentioned. And it made me really like these guys as well. And they're not really that well known, honestly, and I think they deserve more listens. I think the record they put out is fucking awesome by modern standards. My favorite song off the record is called He Who Dances in Blood. It has like that Black Dahlia Murder feel to it, just like a super spitty chorus, and I love it. The highs are so fucking cool on this record. So check this out now, and if you haven't listened to this band before, I highly recommend doing it. All right, we're getting to the last 2 here. Number 2. So I'm going to say it again. This is an unbiased pick, even though we are very good friends with the homies in Spirit Box. Courtney, Mike, and Bill have been very, very nice to us over the years. They treat us very well. They support us wholeheartedly, which we really appreciate, and we've always supported them as well. I'm genuinely proud and excited for them and what Eternal Blue has done for them. It's such an awesome record, and it's a huge testament to, the hard work they've gone through over the years. They aren't just like a new band, I will say. They've been around for so many years, really slogging it out, playing in previous bands. They've gone, through the ups and downs of the industry. It's really fucking cool that they put out a record that they're really proud of with a new project, and it's getting the recognition it deserves. Mike is such a good songwriter. Courtney is such a fantastic vocalist that has really grown into her own, I think, over time. Fantastic lyrics. The vocal melodies across the whole record have a real pop approach to them, and I really respect that, because I also try and write music with like a pop mentality in mind in terms of song structure and like hook. And I think Eternal Blue does that perfectly in terms of like melodic structure and like what's the ear candy that's going to get you hooked. We were lucky enough to be invited by Mike and Courtney to listen to the record before it came out, and they showed it to us. The one song that I heard right off the bat that I absolutely loved was The Summit, because it felt like almost like a Post Malone song. The way that the verse vibes and the whole hook of it, it's so cool, and the chorus is just fantastic. But also, like, it's another record that I listened to all the way through. It's so hard to pick. Like Yellow Jacket, I remember when we first heard that, I was like, this is such an awesome feature. The chorus hook is so fucking good. Secret Garden was going to be my song suggestion for this record as well, but like, I don't know, I like The Summit more, but I also like that one. I don't know, it's hard to say. The singles off this record were just fully bangers. They deserve the praise. It's a perfect metalcore record, in my opinion. So if you somehow haven't heard of Spirit Box, definitely go check out Spirit Box. So before we get to my number one album of 2021, I'm going to go through my honorable mentions. These ones were hard picks. Some of them were more like EPs and singles. And then, yeah, some of them just like didn't fully hit it for me, but I still felt like mentioning them. My number one honorable mention is Invent Animate As If It Never Was. That song in particular is so fucking good. The little 3-song EP, The Sun Sleeps, is just like a perfect flow, and it gets me excited for what they do next. Greyview was one of my favorite records. It was my favorite record of 2020. This is like a little treat for what comes next, I hope. But it was only 3 songs, so I was like, okay, I won't add it to my top 10. I'll add it as an honorable mention, but I listen to it a lot. It's very good. I love Marcus as a vocalist. I think he's so fucking talented. His range blows my mind. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he pushes so hard and gets such beautiful tone, but it's one of my favorite little EPs for sure. If this was like a top 10 EPs, it would be number 1 for sure. But yeah, definitely check it out if you haven't heard it. Number 2 is Happier by Volumes. This is the first Volumes record I've loved probably since No Sleep. Few of the other ones after Michael Barr left fell off for me. There were some singles that I really liked, but it wasn't like a full listen through for me where I loved every track. This Happier record has the Via vibes that I've missed, that I think Dan, their producer, really brought back in. And the song in particular that I love is Happier, which Dan has said, or the band has also said, that it was a song that Dan wrote for the Via album back in 2011, but it got shelved. I'm really glad they brought it back because it's a fantastic way to end a record. So highly recommend checking that out. Next one is another Australian band, a pop-punk band called Closure. And I found them on the same stream that I mentioned before, where our manager told us to go watch the stream because the guy was supposed to be playing a CARCOSA song. He played this band called Closure. They're an Australian pop-punk band. And he played the song Sync. And I was like, this is so fucking awesome, so hooky. Pop-punk isn't necessarily a genre that I gravitate towards, but I fell in love with it. So highly recommend checking it out. They're very, very good. Number 4, just because this album was so recent, I didn't feel like throwing it on the top 10 list either. But Silk Sonic with Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak, it's such a fucking groovy, awesome, Motown funk record. It really encapsulates that 1970s vibe. Smoking Out the Window is such a good song. I love it back to front. Highly recommend it if you're into that. 5 honorable mention, Brand of Sacrifice, Lifeblood. What an awesome fucking banger of a record. It's so pissed. They're another band that's at the top of the deathcore mountain. They're a band that everybody now wants to sound like. They've really basically coined what modern deathcore is. And I think that record is fantastic. The track I recommend checking out is Dawn, the very beginning. It is insane. Number 6 is Slaughter to Prevail, Costalam. I know that everybody will be very upset that I didn't put it on my top 10 list, but put it in your list. This is mine. There are singles on this album that I really enjoy. Obviously, Demolisher, Baba Yaga, Bratva, or whatever. There's tons of awesome tracks. My favorite one is I Killed a Man. I didn't love the record all the way through, so that's why I didn't make my top 10, but there's a lot of positive things about it. The production is super killer. Obviously, it's Alex Terrible. The vocal production is amazing. But yeah, it's a good one. If you haven't checked it out, then you should. And my last honorable mention is Abominable Putridity, Parasitic Metamorphosis Manifestation. It is, in my opinion, the best sounding slam record that's come out in a long time in terms of production, and the most well written slam record. It is a fantastic listen all the way through. It's a very, it feels like a traditional slam record, but it's also just like fucking, it keeps you hooked. It's slams, it's chromatic, it's blast beats, it's, crazy double kicks and stuff, but it's still very entertaining, and it's one of my favorite records of the year. There's a lot of like slam-esque records that came out this year that I could have thrown on here, like Volvudinia, which I wouldn't even necessarily say is a slam band, but their record that came out is really good. Waking the Cadaver, they're back. It's super awesome. But this one was the top of the mountain for me. So yeah, let's move on to my number 1 album of 2021. So this was another new discovery for me. This was kind of like, this year was new discoveries. I had a lot of time to check out new bands, and this was one of those bands. the German homies in Mental Cruelty, A Hill to Die Upon. What a fucking awesome record. Basically, for me, this record scratched an itch that Lorna Shore left for me, where I think that they do everything that Lorna Shore does, but way better and way more interesting. And that's not a shot at Lorna. I love those guys and I love their music. But this one just hit a little bit different. Vibe. There's true cult black metal vibe in this, like legitimate, symphonic black metal that you can tell that these boys listen to the music, and I absolutely love it. Not only is this album my favorite album of this year, but it is now in one of my favorite albums of all time. It has just some banger songs from the very beginning to the very end. The first single they put out, I honestly thought it was such a bold move to put out such a long song with like a 2-minute guest guitar solo and have it be as successful as it is. Like, I like that, but like for the average consumer, they probably don't want to sit around for like 6 minutes and then hear a 2-minute guitar solo. But it is so well written and it sounds so good. The songwriting is so awesome that people were like, I love this band. And the production is fantastic on this record. It was once again impossible to pick a favorite song, but I highly recommend y'all check out A Hill to Die Upon. The title track, very, very good. But listen to this record back to front. Highly recommend it. Check it out right now. All right, and that's it. Thanks for sticking around. Just want to remind people I did not title this video incorrectly. This is my top 10 list for 2021. Don't get mad at me because your favorite album and or song isn't on here. Please don't cry. Put it on your list. That being said, let me know what you liked. Was there anything on my list that you hadn't heard of before that you're going to check out now? That'd be cool. Recommend some stuff to me. I'm always down to hear some new stuff. Happy holidays. I hope everybody survived the garbage fire that was this year, and we'll see you next year. Goodbye.